Hi, how are you today? I'm making this little video because I wanted to talk about something I discovered real recently, and it's about quiver. A lot of us have back quivers and pocket quivers and hip quivers and bow quivers and whatnot. Well, this quiver is not something new, but it's something that I found, and it's for me it's new. It's called the Lakota Quiver. Of course, it's been around for centuries by the Indians and whatnot that have been using it, but I wanted to kind of share with you how we could use it. I've had some people say I've tried it and I had problems, all my arrows fell out and so on and so forth. So let's just have a look at this quiver and see what attributes there are, and perhaps you can give it a try yourself. If you put this on, most people will wear these, and it's not a new concept, and call it a side quiver. Right? So the right-hand shooters are right on the right-hand side. They'll draw their arrows out and they'll shoot and so on and so forth, and that's it. Side quiver. The thing that the Lakota Quiver can do is be a side quiver. It can be a back quiver, which I don't particularly like the idea because the mouth on it is not rigid and open and easy to get your arrows in and out of. But it has been known to be worn that way on occasion. But the one I like the best is on the front. If you wear it, your right hand shooter, and you wear it on your left hip and wear it towards the front, not just over on here, because then it will get in the way of your shooting, but you wear it at the front. And so it's actually a front quiver. Alright, you got hip quivers, back quivers, pocket quivers, side quivers. This is a front quiver, and it's referred to as the Lakota Quiver. Alright, so what I want to share with you is how I found it to really work very well. If I'm wearing it on the left hip and in front, like so, the arrows are very handy. Some people, like myself, in the beginning I looked at it, I thought, man, that's going to be in the way. Well, it's not. Amazingly, it's not. It's very, very handy. You've got the arrows right close by your bow. You bring them out, put them on, and everything's happening right here in front of you. So you're loading the arrows, you're pulling back, shooting from here. Some people will say, well, isn't it in the way? It's not in the way if it's down here and you're shooting from a vertical, if you're shooting from a canted bow, if you're coming from the top down, sideways, on a moving target, it's not in the way. It's amazing, it's just not in the way, but yet it's very, very convenient. So I'd encourage, and that's why I'm making this video, is to encourage people to give this a try and see what it does for you. Maybe it doesn't have to be the only quiver that you use, of course. It's an alternative. And the thing that I like about it very much is I've shared this with another fellow archer, John Post, and he's helping me out and making them. We're designing and making them, and we're making them out of cloth because I thought that would be a good way to keep the price down. Also, the cloth quiver, like this one, for example. I'll just set the bow down for a minute. This cloth quiver, exactly the same idea as the one I'm wearing right now, which is suede. The cloth ones, you can take out the rod, fold them all up, put them in your backpack or whatever else. And if you don't want to carry around an extra stick, you can always find one in the bush. And if you don't want to do that, you can just stick one of your arrows in it, and it becomes there, keeping the form. So as you're emptying out your quiver, you still have it staying in form and not having it all folding up on you. So it's very versatile that way. The other thing about having cloth quiver is we can keep the price down. So we're looking at $45 to $49 for a cloth one. Suede one's a little more expensive. They're up around closer to $69, in that area, $65 to $69, $70, depending again on how much work goes into the quiver, right? Then if you go to the leather ones, I had Rodney Wright make a couple of leather ones for me, ship them down, and they're a little heavier, more of a, I don't think I found anyway in the warm weather, a little heavy. So I would be using that more in the fall, in the colder weather, over top of your more bulky clothes and so on and so forth. But anyway, there's 3 variations that we're working on right now to make it available for you. Now let me look at one thing. Some of the people I spoke to about it, when I started getting excited, they said, well, they tried it. And the biggest problem that they had was that every time they went to pull the arrows out of the target, the quiver emptied out onto the ground. Because as soon as they bent down, the fletching part would slope to the ground and it would go down into the ground. So I did two things. One is I took and joined in the middle of the opening of the quiver, I took a piece of rawhide and tied it across here, so I divided the opening in half. So now I can put 3 or 4 arrows in the lower half, 3 or 4 arrows in the top half. It keeps the mouth of the quiver pinched together so the arrows are a little more secure. So they're not running around banging around when I'm moving a lot out in the bush and so on, and they're also less likely to fall out when I'm bending down to pull out arrows and so on. However, on extreme circumstances, what I do to make sure that doesn't happen is I simply take the quiver, bring it across, tuck it under the arm of my right arm, right across my body. So then when I bend down to pull out the arrows, I've got the quiver right where I want it so the arrows can't come out. So one of the reasons that I suggest as we're designing these things is to use bamboo or even a carbon arrow in the rod here, because when you put it in under here like this and you press your arm down while you're pulling out, they put a torque on this rod in here, and if it's made of oak dowling or something like that, it snaps. So I've got bamboo in here, so it's very, very, very flexible and very, very light. So it solves that problem quite nicely. So that was the main criticism that I had with using the quiver like that. The other thing is I found about it's very versatile, because if I'm holding here, I can take hold of the quiver with my thumb or other and hold both and have this hand free to go through the bush or whatever else that I want to do. So I've got a lot of freedom, a very lot of freedom. And the other thing, final thing, which is a little perk, is that if you're finished shooting and you're carrying equipment, you can very easily have your bow. I just grabbed a bow here. It's already down. You put it inside of your bag, all right? And then all you have to do is have your bow and your quiver at the same time. Take the strap from the quiver, put it over top of the bow, and bring it around and up in between the quiver and the bow. So if you do that, like this, you now have everything in one. So you can just pick up and carry it. Or if you got enough strap left, you can put it over your shoulder and carry it like that to wherever you want to go. And don't have to worry about it. You want to talk to somebody, you want to have your hands free and so on and so forth, you've got your hands free. And so there's a lot of ways that you can use this quiver. It's very economical, very versatile, and so on. Right now, John Post is designing one a little bit extra, and he's going to donate it for a draw at a rendezvous this year. But from what I understand, he's coming up with an idea so that he can put a pouch, a detachable pouch on here, so that you can put your arm guard and your gloves and stuff in there too. So then you've got it all in one shot kind of thing. So keep your eyes open when you're coming out this way, and your mind, and give this Lakota Quiver a shot, because I think you're going to be very happy once you pick up on what is the best way to use it and the features that it has to offer. Price, versatility, it's great. I found it really, really a great thing to have. But like I said, not necessarily instead of. I mean, you still got bow quivers and hip quivers and other quivers you've got, but this one I think should be added to what it is that you're using, just so you've got that opportunity. Thanks for your time.